Hello, my name is Linda Emanuel and I am a registered nurse. I work in a community health nurse role with AgriSafe Network, and I'm also co-proprietor of our family farm here in Nebraska. We are located in East Central Nebraska, and as you can see, I am here in corn country. And behind me, those big guys are some of the bin systems that we use here on our row crop farm. My work in AgriSafe involves reaching out to the producers. I am the boots on the ground gal, teaching them, educating them on good healthcare practices as they continue to farm and do what they love. So welcome to Can the Bandana Use an N95? Today we're going to talk about dust, specifically that dust that you work with in agriculture. There's inorganic dust, there's organic dust, there are fumes, and there are vapors. When we talk about dust in agriculture, it's not so much the dust you can see. I know it's a nuisance and annoying and may make you cough and sneeze, but the dust that makes us sick is a respirable dust. And that dust is 10 microns or less. So to put that in correlation to something that's more tangible, the human hair is 50 to 70 microns. The dust that makes us sick is less than 10 microns. So it's that itty bitty tiny dust. And what happens is when you're working in a bin system such as we are, you're shoveling and you're working hard, your muscles are requiring more oxygenation. So you're breathing in deep. So within this lung model, it gives you a little bit better visual of what happens when you're breathing in those contaminants and that dust. The heart, of course, the lungs surround the heart. So you breathe in down into your windpipe, and in these blue and white stripes is the bronchus, and it's a right and a left bronchus. In those bronchus, and it bifurcates down into these tiny little pathways. At the end of it is called the alveoli, and in the alveoli are the little tiny air sacs. That's where the actual work of oxygenation happens. So as we breathe in and pulling in all of those contaminants in that can make us potentially sick, they sit down there in that alveoli and cause inflammation. From there, it can cause farmer's lung, which is more of an allergic reaction. It can also cause toxic dust organic syndrome. Both of those diagnoses are something that can put a farmer down in bed for days. And so my role and what I wish to educate you on today is how to protect those lungs. And we have a variety of masks here, so it can be terribly confusing when it comes to choosing the right mask for the right environment in the work that you're doing. So we're going to talk about masks and try and break it down so it's a simple process for those of you that are shopping for those masks. This is a NIOSH approved mask. That means that the National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health has done their research and put their stamp of approval on this mask, saying that it will do the job that it is supposed to do. It has 2 straps, which is key to mask shopping. 2 straps are desirable because it's going to stay on your head and stay in place. We know that when you're in those bins, you're scooping, you're moving, you're talking to your coworker, this mask needs to stay in place. I'm going to do a quick tutorial on how to put on and take off these masks. So with the 2 strap, we allow the straps to hang freely underneath our hand, cup it to the nose, take the bottom strap, that goes around the head, fits under the ear, top strap goes on top of the ear system. So there's no tangling, no crisscross in the back. And then we take 2 fingers, both hands, and mold the metal strip to your nose. Each one of our noses look different, our bone structure is different, and that's what makes you you. You are unique. Be careful of not clamping the top of that band. What happens then is that a little bit of dust will trickle in, and then of course that's what you're trying to protect yourself from, is that dirt and that dust. We also do a fit check, and a fit check is a method of checking that mask to make sure you have a good seal. It's all about the seal. So you take your 2 hands, cup them to your mask, take a big breath in, and I feel the cool air rushing in through the infiltration system. When I breathe out hard, I feel that warm hot breath coming out through the bottom. So that means I have a good fit. When it comes to time to changing the mask, you know it's time if you see dirt on the inside of the mask or if you have dirt on the inside of your face, then you know it's time to dispose of this mask. When it comes to taking them off, super simple. Take the bottom strap, pull it off of your head, and let it get caught in your ponytail. To store these, store them in a mesh bag or possibly a case that you can open. This is going to be a little damp inside because of course that is your hot breath, that is the moisture is within there and it's captured within. So you need to allow them to sit to dry. So when we talk about masks, we also talk about some of the labeling. This, like as I said, is an N95. That means it protects you from 95% of the particulates that may be in this grain bin system. And in these grain bins, you're going to find, of course, possibly mold, bacteria, insect parts, rodent feces, nasty things that you can suck down into your lungs. We talk about livestock barns. There's plenty of mold in there, within the hay, within, of course, the manure, and when it's calving season, you may have that dried placenta, those parts, all of them just sitting there idle. When you start scooping and start moving that, that's when that dust swirls and increases your chance of pulling that down into your lungs. Again, N95. So the N is a marking of if it protects you from oil or mist. Oil and mist may be found in pesticides, in paint sprays, high pressure washers. If you're power washing a hog barn, of course, all of that stuff, all of those nasty things are floating around. So an N, again, is not for the use if there's an oil mist. An R95 means that it protects you, is some resistance from those liquid droplets, and then the P means that it does protect you from an oil mist. So that is part of the labeling on these masks that I have here on the table. We're going to talk about another type of mask. This is a half-face respirator, and respirator and mask are interchangeable in an agricultural setting. This half-face respirator has a head cradle on the back. It comes in 3 different sizes, a small, medium, and large. These straps are also adjustable, and these cartridges are interchangeable. So this is a HEPA filter. It is 100% protection from those things that are floating, and it's good for using in dry materials. So if you were to be putting down a dry pesticide, this would be an appropriate mask. These parts, this all comes off and can be washed, which is very nice. Very important that you take care of your mask and that you wash and then just hang it to dry. The cartridges, as you see on this full face respirator, as I said, can be interchanged. So this would pop on. And when it comes to those liquid droplets that I talked about within those oil mists, the cartridge is the key. You need to read the labels. This one is a multi-gas cartridge, so it would be appropriate to wear if you were spraying pesticides. It also has a filter on there to protect you from the dust that happens. So again, you have to read through our rainbow guide. On that rainbow guide, we talk about the many different agricultural settings you may be working in and the type of mask that it is appropriate to wear for that environment. All right, we're going to dig a little deeper into these masks. So a cloth mask, right? That is what is the desirable protection against this coronavirus that seems to be prowling about our earth. These are great to protect others from your breath when you breathe out. They are comfortable and they serve a purpose. But when it comes to working in grain bins or livestock barns, what you're trying to do is protect your lungs from those contaminants that can potentially make you sick. Again, the farmer's lung or the organic dust toxic syndrome. This is also an appropriate mask. It's an N95. Again, it's a 2 straps, which makes it appropriate to wear on your head, and it folds flat. So for some guys, they like to stick this in their pockets and it makes it easy to transport. We know that if you don't have that mask with you at the site that you're working, you're not going to go back to go get it at headquarters or at your home. So important to keep that mask with you while you're working. When we talk about hog and poultry confinement, these 2 are both appropriate masks. Again, the 8511 works well, and this one is 100% filtration. It's an N100. So again, protecting you from 100% or 99.97% of those contaminants. It has a full shield in here, so it molds well to the face, and it's a little bit thicker fabric. This is also a great one to use while welding, and that is something that a lot of farmers and ranchers don't think about. They know to protect their eyes when they're welding, however they forget to protect their lungs. If you look down on the floor when a farmer is done welding, you'll see a lot of black sediment, and that is thick stuff that can also float and get underneath that welding mask and make you sick. So this has got a lower profile, so it fits well underneath those face shields. This is another example of a mask, and this is a Moldex. It is also an N95. It's molded a little different, so especially it seems like for dairymen, they appreciate this mask. I do hear a lot of folks, especially the aging farmer, complain that their masks cause steaming of the glasses, and so they would rather see than protect their lungs, and you definitely need to see when you're working in agriculture. I think what's going on is that they don't have a good seal. Again, it's all about that seal. So try a different type of a mask. This one may fit a little bit snugger around the nose and protect from those glasses steaming. We talked about pesticides. Again, the full face shield and the cartridge works well. It not only protects your lungs, it's protecting your eyes. And then when it comes to hay and straw, this is a great mask to use. It's an 8271 or the 8511. This mask, once again, it's protects you from 95% of the particulates, and it's also great to use for large droplet sprays. It has the seal, again, to mold to your face. Now, heavy discussion has been in trying to get a hold of these N95s. We know the healthcare community is in dire need of that right now because, again, these masks are designed to protect your lungs from contaminants coming in. So AgriSafe has done some work along with some other partners to find those companies that may still have these, and we will have that slide available for you to look through. My suggestion is that if you can't get a hold of an N95 or an N100, to consider something different, and we have found that these are available on Amazon, as well as Granger is another reputable company that has the half-face mask. While this may seem a little bit much for working in some situations, it may be the best option that you have, just because these N95s are difficult to get a hold of, and they absolutely will do a great job. For me, personally, I prefer this type of a mask. Thank you for attending AgriSafe's virtual stop today, and we were glad to have you on board. As we like to say in AgriSafe, happy lungs, happy life. I wish you all a good day and a good end of your summer, and would like to thank UMass as well as the Central State Center of Ag Safety and Health for allowing us to be with you.